Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moltrap here, coming at you with the ace match! The ace match of the first set of playoffs from the second round of the 2006 Sky Pro League. And this is gonna be hype. This is light versus free. Now, if you missed the addendum at the end of the last one, the last video of this series, then I will tell you again, my apologies that I could not find. I looked high and low and near and far. Pardon me. I couldn't find the second 2v2 match for this series. So it was up. It was 3-2 in favor of the Stars. And then in the 2v2 match, the MBC game 2v2, the second 2v2 set, they were able to take it to bring it to the ace match. So sorry I couldn't find that game. It's just gonna have to be missing because I have no idea where to find it. If someone can find it for me somehow, I guess, I don't know, I would go back and cast it, put it in order in the playlist at least. So if you're, yeah, anyway. Yeah, so sorry about that, but we do have the ace match. At least it wasn't like the last game was just gone. This is the last game of the series and we get to watch it. So we got Light is gonna be the Terran player up at the top right hand corner of the map, and we got Free, almost said Puston because he was in the last game. We got Free in the bottom left, and he's gonna be representing the Stars. So we got everything on the line here, ladies and gentlemen, to advance. Like, it's not everything on the line because it's a lot on the line. Something to gain and everything to lose, perhaps, might be a way of looking at it, because if you win this series, you still have to go to the next series, and you have to win that series, and then you go to the finals, and you have to win that series, and then you can go to the actual grand finals for the whole season, and then it could be worth everything. But this is just worth something. But there's no chance of getting to the finals if you lose this. And SK Telecom is the team that's going to be in those super grand finals, and so none of the teams that are in the playoffs now are SK Telecom. So yeah, basically, yeah, you know, if this was like SKT versus MBC game or something like that, SK Telecom, if they lost, they'd still be in the grand finals, right? But they're not. So anyway, we're gonna see how this turns out here. This is going to be played today on the map Arcadia, which there's so many maps in this, and since it's been a little while, I've forgotten a little bit what the maps are. So let me see if I can pull up Arcadia real quick. And I can't find it actually. Where is it? There it is. There it is. There it is. There's Arcadia. Let's pull up Arcadia real quick. Here we go. It's 4-spawn map. A little ramp down to, oh yeah, that's right. Now I remember. This is the one with the kind of expansion area with 2 bases, and one of them is a mineral only, and there's like a little choke point leading out of both those bases. So it's like, you know, relatively easy to get a third base sometimes, depending on the situation. Especially, I would say, if you're Terran. If you're Terran, it's a lot easier to set up shop in that gap and put some tanks behind it and hold that spot. Now, the third, quote-unquote, third base is not, like I said, it's not a full base. It's a mineral only. I believe there's only 6 mineral patches, so it's kind of like a half base in a way. So I guess maybe it's easy to get 2.5 bases rather than getting 3 bases. But anyway, we'll see how this goes, though. It looks like Free might be thinking about putting something in that gap himself to try and hold on there. He's actually gone for a very quick robo. I don't know if that SCV saw it or not. I kind of looked away for a second, and I didn't quite see if that SCV actually got in far enough to see that robo and then exited or not. But yeah, so I'm not sure if he has that information. He is going to go ahead and, well, actually, no, he's not even scouting or anything at all. He's just kind of trying to escape with that SCV. Dragoon is giving chase with due haste. And yeah, so the raw facility is gonna, it looks like we're probably gonna see just quick reverse here or something like that. So SCV, oh, the SCV thought he was safe. He stopped moving for a moment, and that was his doom. Doom for the SCV. And that means that SCV is not gonna be able to like loop back around, because that Dragoon was actually not guarding the entrance. So SCV could have looped back around through the map and gone back into the choke point there, and maybe even, well, at the very least, he would have been able to scout if there was an expansion going up, I think. Anyway, we do see that Light has several Marines here. It looks like he's probably going for the old FD build or some kind. Yeah, so he's going to go factory into expansion. We have seen a siege tank. We got several Marines, so he's got a substantial force on the ground. Not too much of a threat. This is they're cross positions, so it's a very long distance for him to go. He's actually going to mine up his own entrance to prevent counterattacks and go for a little bit of push here, but actually no. Oh, he gets a little bit of surround. He was trying to... Oh, that was kind of cool. I don't know if that was intentional or not, actually, but the one Marine coming down one side against that Dragoon almost forced the Dragoon to kind of back away to the left, but instead he backed away downwards, and so wasn't trapped against those other Marines. So he actually keeps that Dragoon alive, which is crucial because this is you know, it's an expansion push, but it is a push nonetheless. Now there's a robotics support bay down. The shuttle's already out. The Reaver's going to be coming out before too long. Can he hold off long enough to get this Reaver out is the question. It looks like he's thinking about it because he's moved that shuttle right next to it. We're watching it. There's the Reaver popping out right now. He's going to be able to get it over to the front of the base pretty quickly here. And if he's able to get some good scarabs off on those Marines and kill off that tank, this could be disastrous for Light. But it looks like Light has just decided, okay, you know what? I've done a little bit of damage. I'm going to go home. And that mine, I think that mine spotted the shuttle flying overhead. I'm not sure. Mines have a very small sight radius. So it could have been just outside of it, actually. I'm not sure. But either way, he's heading home. He knows that this is probably the case. I mean, this goes back to whether or not the SCV saw the robo. If he did see that early robo, he would know this is a possibility. And that might be why he's responding in kind by being a little bit defensive after being a little bit offensive. But either way, he's kind of preparing for this just in case it does occur. And it might also just be a game sense thing where he's like, okay, well, actually, he only has 2 Dragoons on a ramp. There's no expansion. Then he definitely has something cooking, and I don't want to eat it without knowing what's in it. And nice little drop here. Drops out the Zealots. He's actually taking it. Oh, nicely done. The Zealot actually able to get the last hit on that tank. Can he get the last hit on the second tank as well? Oh, he does get it. He does get it with the... I actually didn't even... I blinked and I didn't see if it was the mine that hit it or not. There was a mine there in the entrance. I think the mine got dragged in there. So he's going to kill off 2 tanks for only the loss of 2 Zealots. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a very, very good trade, if you ask me. And he might get some SCVs here as well. No, the SCVs are going to escape. And that Scarab is really confused. But more confused than normal. Most Scarabs get pretty confused. Scarabs are pretty dumb. They get confused very easily, but... that one was the low end of the intelligence for us Scarabs go. Anyway, so it looks like Pusan, I'm sorry, not Pusan, Free, sorry, is thinking about pushing out here and taking his own expansion. He's got the Reaver, so he's killed off a couple tanks. He's got observers out, so he can deal with mines. So he's pretty safe. He could actually probably even double expand right here, I think. Like get that second half of a base, because he's picked up a second Reaver. He's going to be able to put out a lot of pressure on the map. I don't think he's quite going to be able to get in with the amount of turrets and siege tanks that are up. I don't think he's quite going to be able to get in and do much damage to Light's economy at this point with these 2 Reavers, although he does have a speed shuttle now. Although it's low on hit points from the previous encounters with turrets. That could play into things if it goes a little bit too deep with the shuttle here. It's rebuilt some of its shields, but it's not full shields yet, and it's low on hit points, so it's maybe a little more than half of its durability. He does actually find a spot in between to get in, squeeze in between these turrets, but the toe! Oh, he drops it out. Is he going to be able to kill off some of these tanks? Their 2 tanks are next to each other. Can he get one more Scarab off? The two Reavers were next to each other also, and he actually loses both of them. Oh, I was just thinking, man, it's such a blunder for Light to have both of his tanks clumped up there, and if he targeted the Scarabs on the second tank, or even onto the turret that was between them, he would have killed off both of the tanks, and the Reavers would have survived, and would have been able to get Scarabs off on top of the SCVs, but instead, that one tank survives just by the skin of its teeth, and is able to finish off both of the Reavers with a single return shot. It was a matter of a potential huge blow for either player, and in fact, it was Light that got the kills there, loses 1 tank, and kills 2 Reavers and a shuttle. So the trade that happened before has now been traded with about the same unevenness back the other direction. In the meantime, though, Free did get exactly what I said. He got 2 bases up. He got 2 Nexuses going. And now, though, with those Reavers dead, Light feels like he's got the advantage. He can push out here a little bit and push across the map here. This Barracks is spotting the Dragoon count. He sees there's only about 6 or 7 Dragoons at the moment. The tanks are moving. Actually, are the tanks moving across the map? I don't see them. It's hard to read the mini-map with the blurriness that we have here. It looks like they're kind of in the middle of the map, and he might have just been... posturing, I guess, but I think he's falling back now. Yeah, he's not doing a push, which is, I mean, I think he only has like 1 factory or 2 factories or something like that, which is why if he'd had a bunch of no, never mind, he does have 4 factories up with 2 machine shops. So I was thinking, yeah, I guess that makes sense. He's been building some factories in the background, going up to 6 as well. If he had more factories instead of that expansion that he's trying to put up, then he could have done a push theoretically off the back of that victory. With several tanks, and if he had the follow-up with vultures, what have you, could have been very strong. But instead, he's gonna actually run into some Dragoons in the middle here, and they're firing on the engineering bay, which is gonna finish off, which is gonna burn down in midair, and just kind of explode. Kind of interesting to think about that, right? It's just like, luckily it explodes, and it doesn't like, you know, actually just like crash down and rain down on the people that are below it or whatever. Anyway, building a new engineering bay. He wants to be able to get some more turrets up around his base just in case. He's going to get up to 6 factories here in just a moment. And with 2.5 bases, he's going to be able to pump out a lot of stuff. And remember, the half base is just the mineral, so you know, he's going to be putting out a lot of vultures theoretically as well to counter this. Now, again, Free has his other expansion. Oh, he actually didn't stop. He now does have those factories up, and oh, there's another Reaver coming in the back here. It looks like he's killed off the 1 turret in the back corner, and all the tanks are up forward. This is an extremely strong push, though, because that choke point is good for holding in either direction, which means it's going to be nearly impossible for Free to actually push out of that expansion. He's actually fighting Reavers with SCVs. And I don't actually know if the SCV got the kill there, or if it was like a tank in the lower part that I can't see or something like that. But he does kill off that Reaver, luckily, because it was starting to wreak havoc in his base. The shuttles run all the way back here, which is actually really smart to bring. He's got 3 shuttles. He's gonna try and Zealot bomb, or maybe even Dragoon bomb, all of these tanks. He is gonna push out here, and without the Zealots having to run in on the front, they're going to be up full hit points when they land on top of these tanks. Looks like some of the shuttles getting a little bit confused by that one very stalwart turret doing a lot of damage to the shuttles. But in the meantime, the tanks are distracted by the Zealots, and the Dragoon's able to come in the top. The mines are doing their damage, though, and the tanks are holding. There's too many tanks. Too many tanks. The Zealots did not do enough damage. The vultures were able to hold off the Zealots from actually killing off those tanks. Now he's put out more mines in the front, which are going to deal with some of these Zealots coming in for the second round, and he's able to hold again. Only 1 tank goes down with the second push, and he loses several Dragoons and several Zealots, and it looks like we might have Light going in for the killing blow here, ladies and gentlemen. MBC Game Hero fought their way all the way to the finals of the first round of playoffs, and here they might be able to begin their ascent to the finals of this second round of playoffs as well, here with Light potentially taking home the series in the ace match. It's going to be over very soon, one way or the other, ladies and gentlemen, but it looks like it's going to be going to Light, and there's the GG. Free exits the game, and MBC Game Hero is going to take the series after being down 3-1. They won 3 games in a row. Poussin, the 2v2, and then Light redeeming himself in spectacular fashion, having lost his first game of the series, or his first game in the series, earlier on, redeems himself by taking home the win for the last game. And we just saw, it's kind of funny, we just saw Bisu in the audience there, or not in the audience, in the stands there. He was part of the 2v2 team that lost. It's just kind of funny. You usually see Bisu and you're like, he's the guy you'd expect to be in the ace match, right? Well, not in 2006. He's still powering up, and Free obviously has to be very disappointed there. So that means MBC Game Hero is going to be advancing to the next round of the playoffs. They're going to be facing off against Hwaseong Oz, where we had instead of a budding BC, we have a budding Jadong is going to be part of that team, as well as for GG Anytime. A lot of cool faces to be playing potentially, because again, it is a best of 7, but you know, it could be up in 4-0. MBC Game won 4-0 there and 4-1 a couple series in the first round of playoffs. So They have it in them to dominate opposing teams theoretically. But anyways, they're going to be going up against Oz, and I'm very much looking forward to that. It's going to be a good series. But MBC Game Hero advancing at the very least from the first round here, or the first series of the second round of playoffs. It's so confusing to keep straight all the different tiers that are involved in this this set. But hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope you guys are keeping track. And yeah, so we're gonna be coming at you here very soon with the second series, and the first game of the second series, playoff match 2, is for GG versus Bisu. And so Bisu is actually gonna be busting out his 1v1 play. He's not on the 2v2 team in the second match, so that'll be cool to see. And but anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thanks very much for watching. GG. On to match number 2.